So YouTube family, Shedeur Sanders finally gets in the game.
The way he throws the football, part of the issue is the majority of the passes are less than 10 yards. So
wide receivers aren't involved very much. The ball's not downfield very far.
rookie running back so far this afternoon.
First time, it is Shedeur Sanders. Yes. For a team.
Are you guys with me? Dillon Gabriel was obviously trash from the start. And I'm not trying to come at him in any disrespectful way, but you can see it right here. Well, I'll get to that receipt later, and it's going to make sense about Coach Kevin Stefanski. Now, the Browns side, the only offense they had early were their two running backs, Judkins and Sampson. Now, this situation showed you that their offense literally has nothing. That was it. No passing threat, no rhythm, no identity. They were doing cardios, not playing offense, and the fans were obviously booing and booing. That's why I love the Cleveland Brown fans all of a sudden again, because you guys finally woke up. It took you damn near 10 weeks, but you woke up. You can't get anything more than what you're seeing from Dillon Gabriel. I'm not here to even hate on him. So even if Shedeur was somewhat garbager than Dillon Gabriel, at least there's hopes and glimpses of what this guy can do versus a guy who's met and reached his cap. I mean, the only way the Cleveland offense could have scored were 6 pick interceptions by their defense scoring or the opponents having fumbles, as we got to see. This offense was atrocious. But we're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders, and he had a drop by Jerry Jeudy, a zip during late in the fourth to Jerry Jeudy's hand, and he dropped it. We have to bring that up as well. But Shedeur didn't play up to par as usual to what Shedeur is, because we knew Kevin Stefanski did not prepare Shedeur. I did a video 1.5 days ago that literally talked about this. Shout out to everybody who supported that video. On that video, we literally talked about how Shedeur was never prepared for this game. He's never had first-team reps with the team. In 2025, an NFL second-string quarterback has never had first-team reps with his actual offense. How the hell he's going to have any chemistry during an actual game? That game against the Ravens where they lost was his first actual NFL game, if we're being honest, and first actual first team reps. A lot of you guys are going to say I'm lying about it, but Kevin Stefanski, he put it there. He said today's Brown coach, Kevin Stefanski, said nothing has changed regarding Shedeur Sanders' practice reps, not getting snaps with the starting unit as backups quarterback, but praise the work he's been doing. He's doing a nice job, including just now coming off the field with, I'm not trying to hear all that, Jack. It's more atrocious BS. Look at this. Today's Brown coach, Kevin Stefanski, said nothing has changed regarding. You seen what he wrote, guys? They always say, like, just like Myles Garrett and everybody, Shedeur is doing a great job, a hard job. That's what people love to say when they don't really have nothing much to say about you that's good, and you do the typical politician routine and you speak on that and you go over and over with it. Now, today's game was a great game where Shedeur had his chances to lead a Cleveland Browns comeback. And I loved every moment of it. They said he wasn't athletic enough, but he got the running. He displayed the traits that made him legendary in Boulder and at Jackson State University. So we're not going to sugarcoat it. A lot of blames could be led the way, but obviously this is a $1 billion corporation. Well, each team are $1 billion. So this is a $1 trillion corporation, but each team is a $1 billion corporation. And you didn't prepare your quarterback at all. You never prepared him, and that part we cannot get beside ourselves. So when I see all the commenters who don't like Shedeur Sanders and don't like people like me or people who look like Shedeur, all the timeline on Twitter or Instagram or everything was just all these people who are soy boys, zesty creatures who don't watch football for real, but they watch race. All you see them writing is he's trash, he's washed up, he's a nepotism baby and all this crap. Like, that the fact that these guys are even calling Shedeur a nepotism baby tells you they're so like invested in their hate for us, they'll literally spew anything out there. As much as you don't have to like Shedeur Sanders, why would you call him a nepotism baby? And we watch, he could have tied the game. He threw the ball right to his receivers who were dropping the ball. We've seen it. Shedeur had a several chance to tie the game when it was 23-16. We witnessed the drop pass, ladies and gentlemen. We seen it. It was good defending as well. Number 84, I think, was the one who dropped it. I'm trying to see, was it Benjamin? It was Laverden. I wrote that down. It was Laverdanian. He dropped the pass. So who are going to be the groups of people giving Shedeur his props? Then we got to witness a lot of clowns like Kenny Hamilton mocking Shedeur when he got sacked for his first NFL sack, and they did the whole watch thing. That tells me a lot of things about brothers from our communities. We seem to have an invested hate towards each other the same way the Mayo community who don't like us have towards us, because we can't wait to do all the extras when we hurt each other. But meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, who obviously don't like people who look like us, Dillon Gabriel, who's a slickster, you guys didn't have any of this energy for Dillon Gabriel. And that's my point. What we do towards each other, it represents you. I'm going to just be real. The representation of who Kenny Hamilton is are the groups of people where the scriptures talked about 2/3 of your people won't make it. I hate to go religious about this, and because the scriptures is not religious. I'm just speaking truth. Kenny Hamilton is a piece of crap, and he's going to stay there. Now let's get to Dillon Gabriel once again, because enough is enough. Dillon Gabriel once again showed why being short, having a weak arm, and never playing without a 5-star players on your team or a 5-star football team, he becomes a problem in the NFL. He doesn't have these scapegoats to help him out and mask his limited skill set that he has. He simply cannot lead a professional offense. He barely can read a defense. As much as you're criticizing Shedeur for what he displayed today, I've seen bad, I've seen good. I've seen a quarterback I can actually work with. I've seen a quarterback who can actually throw the ball down the field. I've seen a quarterback who can actually throw the ball down the field, and that's who Shedeur is. Cleveland had 6 red zone possessions in the first half and gained 6 total yards during these 6 red zone possessions. Will the Shedeur Sanders haters even speak on this? No, because they don't watch football. They only tune in on highlights by failed pundits on ESPN or guys from certain clan memberships who don't like us. They go look at that. And that's what it's always been. Groups of people who are waiting for our downfall. It's never going to change. Now, to have 6 total yards in those 6 red zones possessions, that's beyond embarrassing. Fans were booing, teammates were frustrated, and even the commentators were confused how an NFL quarterback could be this ineffective. Let's look at the intro video once more.
The way he throws the football, part of the issue is the majority of the passes are less than 10 yards. So
Wide receivers aren't involved very much. The ball's not downfield very far.
Rookie running back so far this afternoon.
First time, it is Shedeur Sanders.
Yes.
Now, you've seen that. Now, I've seen number 77 on the Browns screaming. I don't know why he was screaming for. Then I looked at the replays. I thought he was being slick towards Shedeur Sanders, but he was defending my brother Shedeur. He was out there screaming, "This is BS," as far as the referees not doing a good job to call the pass interference. And that made out. They never prepared me for this game. My teammates aren't with me, and things are happening immediately after the game. I got so much emails from people telling me Shedeur's own teammates were going back and forth with him. Now, I'm going to try to reach out to people who have a tremendous relationship with the Sanders to see how true that part was. But just to know your own teammates were rooting against you while you've been a consummate professional during the whole time, that tells you why this failure system known as the Brown, well, has been a failure system. Now, we can glaze Myles Garrett all we want, but I think it's evidently clear he can't make a football team great. He can look good. He can look great at certain moments, but when it counts and it comes down to the line, he's ineffective. And a lot of people don't want to get into that. I haven't seen fourth quarter Myles Garrett ever be activated his entire career. Not at Texas A&M, not in high school, not in the professional NFL ranks of things. I'm sorry, guys. And look what team he gets these numbers against. I'm just being very honest about it. This is the lowly, awful Cleveland Browns. And let's just be real, playing against Baltimore Ravens that have a depleted roster and who hasn't been the Baltimore Ravens of days that we've known recently. I'm just going to be honest. No excuses here. Now, when you look at this, fans were booing Dillon Gabriel. Teammates were frustrated. Even the commentators were confused how Dillon could still be ineffective, as I said earlier. Now, when you look at the situation, and the only way Cleveland even sniffed the scoreboard was because the situation of Deion Sanders, former Colorado wideout, LaJohntay Webster, he fumbled during the Ravens 6-yard line. Even then, they still couldn't punch it in. The red zone behavior of this Dillon Gabriel-led team was just BS all around. They never could produce anything. And Dillon, he still got glazed by the announcers. All Cleveland got was a field goal after field goal after field goal. This is the number one field goal team in the NFL at this point, if we're being honest. Now, let's just get more into this video, bro. So, watching Tommy Reeves, who took over for Kevin Stefanski, you didn't get anything out of it. And let's not sugarcoat it. Cleveland's defense scored more points than their offense once again. A pick six bailed them out. You know, it bailed the teams out over and over. We've seen this story already. But then you add offensive coordinator Tommy Reeves, who somehow managed to look even worse than what Kevin Stefanski was. Predictable play calls, no creativity, no help for the quarterback, definitely no help for Shedeur. Almost like they sabotage. I'm not going to get into that right now. A separate video will be made. And it was like watching two coordinators trying to see who could call the worst offensive game I've ever seen during an NFL game live. Dillon Gabriel ended the first half with 68 passing yards. Are we going to talk about that on Monday? No, you're going to have Monday morning quarterbacks on ESPN and Fox Sports talking about Shedeur didn't look good. Well, what quarterback would look good if that was his very first time playing with the first team? Meaning, not even in practice, he got the first team reps. I've showed you the proof. I showed you the head coach himself, who was proud to say he's never given Shedeur first team reps. That's not NFL football. That's preseason quarterback 3 football by Dillon Gabriel and Tommy Reeves and the worst clown in football, Kevin Stefanski. Now, the only reason Shedeur even got in the game was because of Dillon Gabriel. Well, he hit the concussion evaluation. He hit the NFL's protocol. Then Shedeur entered the game. Then the game completely changes, and we now get to feel a new energy. Even though Shedeur didn't play up to a Shedeur level, it still was an energy of we're getting something new and not the same old, same old. But unfortunately, because of play calling and due to the ineptitude of Tommy Reeves and Kevin Stefanski, you got to see the same old, same old. Now listen, the only reason Shedeur Sanders entered this game in the third quarter, almost halfway through the third quarter, if we're being, for real, is because the Browns had no other choice. Kevin Stefanski didn't want this. The staff didn't want this. They were not preparing to for Shedeur, that is, to ever play in a Browns uniform. I mean, I showed you proof after proof. Kevin Stefanski admitted earlier this week, like 4 days ago or 3 days ago, I think it was, that Shedeur hasn't ever taken first team reps. I'm going to keep saying that and reiterate that because that's wild to me. This is coaching malpractice at best. This is how you fail a young quarterback before he even steps on that field. And this is why I never wanted Shedeur to play anymore for the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur comes in cold, no rhythm, no preparations, no chemistry with the starters. His first pass he completed, it was good touch, good poise, but then after that, the incompletions, the offensive line's inability once again to protect their quarterbacks, but then it becomes redundant of the same old, and it's not because Shedeur misread the field. He can't go through his progressions. It's not because of that. It's only because he had zero blocking on the play, where Pro Bowlers like tackles like Cam Robinson was injured already. Let's just be real. And they barely kept a balance for Shedeur. That's why Shedeur looked unbalanced. Shedeur gets hit mid throw because the pocket collapsed in less than 1.5 seconds. Count it. I'm petty, not messy, but I am petty. I counted it, less than 1.5 seconds. You can't evaluate any quarterback in that situation. You just can't. But the racists and the haters will evaluate Shedeur, and they'll tell us, like I've been watching, he's garbage, even though these people don't understand football and they don't watch football. And the Browns fans, they knew it wasn't Shedeur's fault. The stadium's energy changed. People realized this kid was being set up to fail from the get-go. Derrick Henry, a.k.a. King Henry, let's talk about him. Meanwhile, King Derrick Henry was out there playing like this in 2019 with the Tennessee Titans. The stiff arms, the power runs, dragging defenders. I mean, he ran through Cleveland's front seven like they were inflatable dummies. This is why I don't get the Myles Garrett glaze. Does he add these plays, and is it an added piece where a team needs it desperately, where it helps a team wins? No. Go look at all the sacks Myles Garrett's had. In fact, he's leading the NFL in tackles for loss. But look at the position he's in. It only benefits Myles Garrett. It doesn't benefit the Cleveland Browns. It just doesn't. It doesn't slow down their running game. It doesn't does anything. So we need to look at a new way where we evaluate these defensive linemen, because these overrated, inflated stats only make one person look good, and that's the player, not the team. The team doesn't benefit in no way, shapes, and forms. So what's the point of paying a player this broken scale contract that's going to deplete the team of necessary funds and resources that you actually need? What's the point of playing an overrated player like that? I'm not giving all my eggs in baskets on a defensive player like Myles Garrett. You guys can critique me, but you can have Myles Garrett. Obviously, the Cleveland Browns cannot win with a Myles Garrett. They need other positions and pieces for a team like the Cleveland Browns. And I would trade Myles Garrett next year. I will literally trade him because we don't benefit with him and it doesn't do anything for us. I'm sorry, guys. I would trade Myles Garrett. Now, let's just go further deeper. The Ravens didn't even need Lamar Jackson to be Superman today because King Henry was the bulldozer all night. And that's why the Browns were drowning. Drowning. No, A Boogie. You'll catch it later. Rest in peace to Fred the Godson. And that's why the Browns were a depleted team. It was not only because of injuries. They have no heart. The entire roster, no heart. No quarterback play, no protection, no offensive coordinator identity, just chaos, pure chaos. And my final message to you guys, let's cover down on what we talked about today. We talked about Dillon Gabriel. He's not an NFL starter. We don't know what Shedeur Sanders is yet. He hasn't got the chance yet. But one thing for sure, one thing for certain, Dillon Gabriel is not an NFL quarterback. Let's stop this failed experiment. Let's see what Shedeur can give us in the next 2 weeks. Then we can evaluate what we think of Shedeur. Let's be fair to Shedeur Sanders the way you haters of his were glazing Dillon Gabriel, no matter how god-awful Dillon Gabriel played. To all you failures, you male failures, and you stepping fetchings who look like me, can you give Shedeur Sanders the same grace you gave that failed experiment, Dillon Gabriel? Just being real. Let's just be honest. Now, let's go further deeper. Kevin Stefanski's failed Shedeur Sanders by not giving him first team reps ever. Not OTAs, not training camps, not preseasons, and not during the season, not even after you traded Joe Flacco and named Shedeur second string quarterback. I've never seen this before. Never, ever. Not on any level of football. Not high school, not middle school, not Pop Warner, not college, and damn sure not in the NFL. Shedeur was put in a no-win situation, as I've been telling you guys for 3-4 months now, and I've only got a lot of great supporters out of it. Thank you guys for believing in my words and not looking at me as crazy. Shedeur was not put in a win situation or a lose situation. He was put in a no-win situation, and he still showed flashes of an NFL talent. Towards the end of the game, the Cleveland Browns were still right in it. That's who Shedeur Sanders is. He's resilient. The Browns' offense is broken, and the Ravens exposed it for the world to see, because this was the worst Baltimore Ravens team I've seen yet on an NFL football field. Yet, somehow, some way, they were still able to expose the Browns' weaknesses and able to come with a W. Derrick Henry owned the game from start to finish. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to see more in this football analogies and what I broke down, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. I'm DJ Blessone, the best one. I love each and every single one of you great supporters.
I've been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say it's my fault, I